Hello and welcome to the Kayden Show, today's best country mix. And joining us right here today is Tim and Mark from the Miskimon brothers. Tim and Mark, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Wonderful. Thanks for having us.
It's my pleasure. So let's get started by getting to know you two a bit and tell us more about how you got started in music. Why don't we go ahead and start with Tim?
Okay, we did it from little kids. When we were growing up, there wasn't many musical instruments available to us, so we started off just beating on things and singing. Literally like a ruler and a telephone book. So, we got a guitar for Christmas at 1 year, and we got a little organ, and we made music. Now, we got old tapes of it. Doesn't sound much like music today to us, but it was the start.
And what about for you, Mark?
Well, I can remember Tim having a little battery operated, like, I don't know if they were 2.5, 3 inch reel to reel. And we would beat on the phone book, and my symbol was we had a metal wardrobe, a cabinet in our bedroom. So that was the symbol. And, we played that and boom, boom, like that. And we just tried, and no overdubbing. It was like, okay, we're going to make a song up, and something came in our head, and not always good, but that's how we started. Then we graduated to, oh, geez, I think I got a Tiger guitar, and he got a real guitar.
That's the old days. A lot of those things, the younger audience wouldn't remember a lot of those things, like reel-to-reel tape recorders and stuff like that, But it was the beginning. And I will tell you this, we did, when I was a kid, I guess 5 or 6 years old, right around the time Mark was born, I used to go out in the backyard and swing on the swing, and I would sing. And Mom would hear me singing at the top of my voice. And she would come when I would go in the house, she would say, "What were you singing?" And I said, "I don't know." And I really didn't know. And by the time I made it to 9, I realized I was hearing music in my head. I was hearing tunes.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't play an instrument, I could barely sing. But that was the beginning, and I've had tunes in my head. They wake me up in the middle of the night, and it's always a tune going around in the head, so
Not all good ones.
For sure, for sure. Now you have a new song that you did with Empire called Hung on You. Tell us more about that.
okay. We had various bands coming up. We started as teenagers. Matter of fact, Mark wasn't even a teenager yet, and we had a band called Basement Floor. And in the early 80s, we signed a record deal with Atlantic Records, and it went south because of publishing. They wanted everything forever, and I just didn't want to sign songs at my whole catalog, So that went bad, and we had other offers, and then we went with another label. And in the 90s, we actually signed with a label that was from out of Germany called Electric Chord, and they had an office out in California for a while. I can't even remember the name of the. Do you remember the name of the record label that they brought over here? It was
Graphite?
Graphite Records, and we signed with them. Nothing ever happened with it. So we did an Empire album, and we released that. And back in those days, it was CD Baby was getting popular. So we sold a lot of CDs, like 5,000 of them on CD Baby, and we were sending box loads to Germany and the Netherlands and stuff like that. But after this thing happened with Miskimon Brothers, we just thought that this old stuff that we thought some of it was really good, older stuff, nobody's really heard it. You know what I mean? It's maybe just the people that bought the albums, the CDs and stuff at gigs, but nobody ever heard it. So when we started having a lot of airplay with our first three Miskimon Brothers, we thought, why not release one of those songs? Mm-hmm. So we came in the studio, and I remixed it, and we touched it up a little bit, and we put it out. And we want people to hear our music, because we literally have probably 300, 400 recordings. and we want people to hear it all.
That was always one of my favorite tunes.
It's
to
new
play.
songs and it's old songs. So you know, even like the Shenandoah Sunrise, the Miskimon Brothers album, that's a mixture of older songs and brand new songs. And the first song that was released off the album was called My Baby's Away. And I actually wrote that when I was 15. And I always thought that it was a good song, but we never done anything with it. And being in a rock band, because Empire is more rocky than country, and we released that song because it was the first time we got to do a country recording. So we like it all. We're kind of in the pop rock vein and the country, because how I listen to country music today, modern country music. It sounds like 70s rock to me, a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, we never sit down and say, we're going to write this kind of song or that kind of song. We're going to record this and it's going to be this. It's like whatever we're blessed to have sent to us, wherever it comes from. If it pops out and it comes to chords and it, has a melody and stuff, and we're like, my worry always is, does that sound like somebody other than us? You know what I mean? Is it somebody's tune?
oh
Does
yeah,
it? And, we'll go through our catalogs of old records and listen to the radio and whatever, listen to podcasts. And it's like, nope, doesn't sound like anybody. It must be us. So then we'll record. You know what I mean? And because I worked on a song for a long time ago. I'm working on it and I'm like, man, this is coming too easy. And it ended up sounding like some old, March of the Battle Hymn of the Republic or something. And Timmy goes, that's not your song. And I'm like, it's
yeah.
not. It's not.
Definitely. Now, if people want to learn more about the Miskimon Brothers, where can they find you guys?
Well, live wise, we're not playing right now. The big thing that happened was in Baltimore, and I imagine it happened in a lot of places. We played up and down the East Coast for years, and COVID kind of destroyed the club circuit around here. It's just totally wiped out. I mean, it went from having big clubs to now we got little corner bars. And so when COVID happened, we decided on putting these songs all together because we couldn't go out and play. We couldn't do anything really, the town was completely shut down. So we put together over 60 songs during that period of time, and we've been working on them since then. So we got a new album that we're pulling songs off the Miskimon Brothers because people tell us to just keep pulling singles to get your money out of it because people ain't seem to be buying albums. But we got other recordings that are finished that some of them are mastered, some of them aren't, but they're waiting to be released and we don't know what to do with them just yet, because your singles, you do them one at a time. And it, a single, if it's good, it sticks around for 3 months. So you put out, 3 or 4 of them a year, which is what we did. We've been fortunate that all 3 of our songs, like on the European network and stuff, all 3 of them are still on the charts at the one song after 66 weeks. So we've been enthused about that. It's a blessing, it's like, wow, people are finally getting to hear our music. And that was all our intention. That was our intention.
That was it. That's all I ever wanted, was for our songs to be heard by people. Would be nice if somebody might pick one up and or something, but at this stage, it's like, it's just great to have the stuff heard,
We're generally writers, I mean, we played live for all those years, but in our hearts, we're doing now what we always wanted to do, is just keep recording and keep putting stuff out and let people decide whether they like it or not, So we've been getting some pretty good response, but, the world's big. So we might, you could always laugh, you could sell 1 million records in America and still have the majority of America hate you, so it's all a niche thing. There's 300 million people or whatever, and you sell 1 million records, that's a fraction, so you don't need to have the whole world like you, just need to have a fan base, and we're building that now.
That's very well said, Tim. And Tim and Mark, is there anything that I forgot to mention that you guys would like to mention before we go today?
Actually, just that, we have a website. It's MiskimonBrothersMusic.com, and it has a history of all of our stuff up there. We have 5 official albums out under different names, and I think from this point out, everything's going to be called Miskimon Brothers. We'll pull stuff from the old albums, but everything from here on out is going to be Miskimon Brothers, or you notice that it says Empire featuring Miskimon Brothers.
Yeah.
Because we found out at some point that there was 2 or 3 other bands called Empire. And even the streaming services got us mixed up and got the new song mixed up. I'm trying to get that straightened out with another Empire. And I'm like, whoa, that's so we're trying to rebrand it, but we don't want to lose fact that Empire was a band in itself. And
had a pretty good following back then.
And the Basement Floor band we had a very good following. At one point we had about 5,000 people on our mailing list just alone. That was in the old days where you actually had to physically send out postcards, mail it.
Yes.
And boy, was that. And we're
dating ourselves.
We did them once a month. Now you click a button, you can make something up, and you can click a button and send to your whole fan base. And it's just, we bloomed late. I guess that's what you could say. We got it going late, and had the record deals not been bad for us, it may have happened earlier. But we're happy. I mean, we're what I love about it is I'm still enthused and excited about the music.
Still fun.
And since I'm hearing the independent channels, I listen to a lot of independent channels. I tune in. I'm so encouraged that how much good music is out there. There really are good writers. If you listen to the local music channels, you think, God, man, nothing's changed.
20 songs.
Yeah,
they play like 20 songs over and over and over.
And it don't matter which channel you listen to and what genre, you hear those same songs. Whereas on the independent channels, you hear everything. And so I'm really excited about that. And I know you're in the independent thing, and so I know you're excited about it too, because the record business we always said we love music, but we hate the record business.
Very well said. Tim and Mark from the Miskimon Brothers, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the King Gordon Show, today's best country mix. Definitely appreciate your time and support, and hope to have you on the show again real soon. We appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much, Kayden.